You're watching Truth versus Hype. In part 1 of our investigation into the coal allocation controversy, we had traced the deep-seated flaws in the policy of allotting of captive coal and how it had created conditions ripe for corruption. Tonight, in part 2, we are breaking from our normal format to cut to the heart of the controversy of how dozens of companies with no prior experience or financial backing managed to corner crores of rupees of captive coal using proxy political connections which cut across party lines. But first, a quick guide to the controversial journey of captive coal. In 1993, the government partly gave up its monopoly in mining coal, which allowed private players to mine coal, but only for captive use in their power, cement or steel plants. The logic was that this would boost coal production and lead to cheaper power, cement and steel. But the manner in which these blocks were allocated through a screening committee might not be ideal for accountability. The committees are headed by the Coal Secretary with representatives from state governments which had mine ministries and other ministries like steel and power, each of them giving their recommendations as well as, of course, representatives of those companies which were bidding for the blocks. Now, till 2003, this didn't seem like a major problem. Only a small number of blocks were allotted as the power sector was opened up. Dozens of applications came rushing in, exposing the cracks in the screening process. In 2004, Coal Secretary P.C. Parakh, who we just saw there earlier, wrote to the Prime Minister's office, which was looking after the coal ministry, to switch to a bidding system. And as he told us in an exclusive interview given earlier, he felt the screening committee was ripe for corruption, with individual members lobbying for their favorites.
You see, the corruption can take place not necessarily when you give wrong decisions. Sometimes with right decisions also corruption can take place. So, and when you are giving assets worth thousands of crores of rupees without charging anything, I don't think any allottee will mind passing on part of the benefit which he gets. So I can't really rule it out. All kind of pressures coming on the screening committee, because you have too many people, then naturally everybody will try to influence through various quarters in his favor. Pressures could come from all quarters. They could come from the state government, they could come from the ministries which were sponsoring various parties. So pressures can come from all these quarters.
And reading through the screening committee minutes as we did for that period, literally going through dozens of these minutes, they conveniently masked those pulls and pressures that Mr. Parakh was talking about. Barring the occasional reference to state governments recommending certain companies or certain ministries objecting, in the end the decision was shown as collective, giving it a veneer of respectability. The government agreed in principle to switch to a bidding-based process, but dithered over making that change for almost 4 to 5 years. And in that time, a whopping 64 blocks were allotted to 96 private companies. The government has argued that these delays were because of a lack of political consensus. But Parakh didn't agree. He says that everyone wanted to keep an opaque system going.
You see, in my view, if there is a seriousness about shifting to this kind of a system, it couldn't have taken 6 years to introduce the system. My view is that both industry and political system at that time was not really willing for change of the system. And therefore, to my mind, most of the delays were deliberate delays and they were not really necessary.
Much of those failings are captured in the CAG report, which found that the captive coal policy had yielded neither cheap power or greater coal production. Instead, dozens of companies were simply squatting on coal blocks. Some had even sold them for hefty sums. It's now up to the CBI to sift through those with genuine intent and had genuine reasons for delay, or those who simply wanted to corner a coal block for profit. They've been going through the lists of companies and found that of the 100-odd private companies that were allotted blocks, about 34 are established power players like SRs, Tatas, Adani and so on. But the CBI's gaze is probing more deeply into the 64 newer entrants who've sprung up virtually overnight, either lacking the experience or whose ownership is under doubt, leading to suspicions that these are shells or front companies for politicians or have been given away to their cronies.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.